Now, Ndiangui Kinyagia is back, and to be honest, I came here wanting to talk about Ruto's trip in London because there are so many lies that we have to double check, and we also have to ask ourselves why now and why is London so welcoming to this man. But I know there are a lot of mixed reactions towards Ndiangui's return. A lot of people tweeted about his abduction, a lot of people tweeted about his disappearance, and people were like, we want justice. We saw the judiciary call out the DCI and also asked them to present this man. They gave the DCI an ultimatum, and now having Ndiangui come back, some people are like, why did we tweet about this person in the first place, or why did we even call out the DCI? But I want us to always look at the loopholes in these particular events, because as I said, may I have a theory. Something about this does not sit right with my spirit, guys, and I know a lot of you are also confused about the whole scenario, because tell me why after more than 10 days you will come out and say, you know what, guys, I was just hiding, I was scared for my life because I knew the DCI were after me. They came to my house. We have a statement by the Law Society of Kenya saying that the neighbors actually say that, the DCI were in this person's house and it was chaotic. So tell me why again we have this guy in court today saying, I was just scared of my life. I'm back shaved. Well, he cleaned up nice, of course, his hair and all that. But if we cannot be able to question the loopholes in all this, then we might be buying a narrative that is being sold to us. So what are some of the things that are not making sense here? One of the things that obviously, after analyzing some of your posts on X and even other social media handles, the most important question someone is asking is, if you go missing for this amount of days, guys, and everyone is looking for you, especially the family members, and even the members of public are looking for you, and the narrative around fake abductions, why would you not want someone to tell the public that you're okay? Honestly, why would you not text a family member and alert them, even if you're not going to use your phone, because again you are in hiding 10 days. I don't know if anyone can hide from this government for that long. They had the capability of getting Albert from his home, so I don't know if honestly any Kenyan can hide from these people for such a long time. But if he was hiding, then obviously he was in such a comfortable place, he could get another person's phone. He would have been able to text a family member just to alert the public that, guys, I know you are worried about me, but since I'm in this movement and we are together, it's only fair I tell you that, I am okay. All right. What's the other thing that doesn't make sense here? You remember when the judge, man, I feel for this judge because I don't know what he's feeling right now. I don't know what he's feeling right now. He was very, very categorical in court, and a no-nonsense judge. And then now to hear that this guy is back, I don't know what the judge is feeling, honestly. But look at it this way. The judiciary puts pressure on the DCI to provide Ndiangui, right? Provide this guy. We don't want to know. Find him. You are in his house. Yes, you did not find him, but now we want you to find him so that we can all know that he's safe and sound. And there was a lot of pressure towards the DCI, and I don't want to repeat all the things the DCI said, but they were right here saying, this person was a person of interest. He had posted a mock invitation. You remember what Ndiangui had posted on his social media in regards to the June 25th protest. And they said, this person was a person of interest to us, but we went to his house and we conducted a search, but we did not find him. And they also said, come and just report to us, you are safe that way, actually, right? And then they are summoned in court, they don't show up. The DCI have this method of no-show, even when they are summoned in court, they don't show up on Tuesday, and then all of a sudden it's Thursday and Ndiangui is back, guys. Don't you think someone saw something here? I mean, if I want Kenyans to cool down on these protests and the abductions, what's the best thing for us to do right now? How about, We play the long game. Have these people wonder where this guy is, have them tweet, have them repost, have them call out the DCI, and then, you know what, we present this person, maybe scare him a bit, you know what I'm saying? Maybe just scare this guy a bit, put his under duress, put him under duress, threaten him with a family member here and there, you know, we know you to Mekumak, so I'm just saying, allegedly, that could have happened. Someone somewhere threatened this guy with a family member and maybe told him, you know what, we need you to present yourself and say you are hiding. You are the one who was hiding yourself. You know, you are not under any person in this country. You are not abducted. You are not under the DCI. Just say that, you know what, you are hiding. And then, you know, obviously, when he comes out and says he was hiding because he was scared of his life, everyone who posted free Ndiangui or justice for Ndiangui or tell us where this person is, including the judge, looks absolutely stupid. And what does that do to you? Man, next time you want to post, you'll double check yourself because you're not sure if the person you guys are demanding justice for might turn up the next day and say, you know what, guys, I was good. I thank you for your posts, but I was really good, you know. And that kills you. It kills your morale. You don't feel like you want to post anymore. You don't feel like you want to call out this rotten regime anymore because you are like, okay, if you guys are abducting yourselves, man, then what else do you expect me, an innocent person with a Twitter or with an X account or a YouTube channel, what else do you expect me to do? And this kills the faith in people, the morale in people, and now you have to double check yourself. Whenever you are tweeting about a missing person, you have to always ask yourselves like 10 questions even before you can be able to post. And then the end goal, people will be abducted. Even right now you hear Lynn Ngugi is missing, you'll be like, Lynn ameji abduct, by the way. See that guy, the blogger, you know, they are calling Ndiangui a blogger, but I don't want to call him a blogger because one of the things they're also doing, they're reducing everyone to a blog. And I have nothing wrong against bloggers, but this is something they're also planting in your mind to think bloggers are just lazy people who spend time tweeting about this government. So even if you hear someone who is a blogger, you see what they called Albert, a blogger. They called him a blogger before they could acknowledge his teaching profession. And now they have gone ahead and they've labeled Ndiangui that before they could acknowledge that he's a, you know, a tech-savvy guy. He was a lecturer at ADMI, and they have this way of reducing everyone to a blogger so that even when they send that out to the public, you look, you know, they undermine your profession and they really don't want to tell people what it is that you do, because blogging in this country has that meaning, that loose meaning where people don't even respect that people could actually make honest living out of blogging. So obviously now he's back. As I said, you lose morale, you don't feel like tweeting, and there we will have massive abductions happening, and the public uproar will not be there, or the outrage will not be there, because again, what if I text or I tweet or I call out the DCI and then this person shows up tomorrow, right? It's confusing. I know it's absolutely demotivating and confusing. Oh, the other thing that we might actually consider in all this is, what if someone actually got paid, you know? Yeah, they had him, then they convinced him, you know what, obviously under duress, wewe tumekumark, so there's nowhere you can go, ama tumemark family yako, but you know, we are willing to make this go away like they do in movies, you know, willing to clean this up, willing to make this go away, but we're gonna pay you a couple of thousands here and there, get you another job, maybe again load your account, and before you know it, because you're also scared for your family, you take the money. I know, just different views, you know, different views, and I would love to hear what yours might be in this case. But as I said, I do not believe someone can hide from this government for 10 good days plus. Come on. Nah. These people will send choppers, they'll send Subarus, they will send people to where you are, and they are going to drag you all the way from Homa Bay to Nairobi. You cannot run away from these people. If they want you, I know they will find you. I know they damn well know where I am right now filming this, you know. If you are a person of interest to these people and they know they want you, they will come and they will find you. Right? So unless Ndiangui was hiding in Salvador or Siberia, I don't know, guys, something is very confusing about this, and I'm just checking on you to find out how are you feeling, especially after all this is done. How are you feeling, and do you think you will be able to post or call out injustices anytime soon, or are you as confused as many people are, you know? And can you see the long game in all this? What if that's what they want you feeling? They want you feeling confused. They want you not sharing not calling out these injustices. They just want you feeling madogodanio, because at the end of the day, they will achieve exactly what they needed to achieve, right? Now, there's no doubt Ruto needs all the PR he can get right now, whether it's standing ovation or just touring the King's Cross railway station in London, which I wonder what these people go to benchmark every other time. I mean, we've seen Mudavadi there a couple of times, but even last week, or actually this week, the president and his entire crew, they were there benchmarking so that they can be able to see how to develop the railway station in Kenya. He got standing ovations. I mean, this man is taking photos left, right, and center. He's touring across London, giving speeches. And you know, you are wondering, oh my goodness, who would welcome such a president in their home country, considering what is happening in his own country right now? And Kenyans were not shocked when Invest Africa, that's now the Africa Debate, posted on their social media handles that their honorable speaker for this particular Africa Debate would be President Ruto. And let me just read for you what they had actually stated and some of the credentials they are giving President Ruto, so that you can see why they got all the negative feedback, which I actually think they deserved. So they went ahead and posted President Ruto to headline the Africa Debate 2025, a defining moment for Africa's investment future. All right, are we taking notes? They go ahead and say President Ruto, a driving force behind green growth, industrialization, and regional integration, will set the tone for a day of high impact dialogue between African leaders, global investors, and policymakers, with a visionary platform rooted in inclusive economic growth. President Ruto will open the UK's foremost Pan-African Investment Summit under the theme Harnessing Natural Capital for Growth. Oosh! I mean, you read that, you want to attend. You want to attend and listen to Ruto talking about harnessing natural capital for growth. You want to see this man talking about Africa. They are labeling this also a Pan-African event. And you are wondering, why does Ruto always feel the need to talk about African matters? This is someone who cannot even fix his own home country, you know. Doesn't it remind you when he came to power and people would label him a Pan-Africanist, and he would go and talk about all these things that are happening in Africa, us having our own currency, the Pan-African movement, and look at him right now. What a shame, right? But you would wonder why Invest Africa would schedule this just a week after the 2024 anniversary, or the June 25th anniversary of the finance bill protest that saw 60 Kenyans dead. And you know what? I feel like at this moment, they just told Kenyans, you know what, we don't care what you guys think. We don't care what you feel. We don't care what is happening in your country. This is going to be our guest of honor, and we are going to have him in this event, whether you like it or not. But they were not having it any easier, because people bumped into their social media pages and they were just expressing how disgusted they are for this particular Africa Debate or Invest Africa to have Ruto as their chief guest, right? And we got a couple of remarks. I want to read this, and then we can move to some of the speeches that Ruto had during this whole debate. And one of the people said, this is Maureen Karichu, this is through LinkedIn comments. She said, William Ruto regime has been marked by state violence, protester killings, abductions, and a total disregard for human rights. Honoring him with a platform only normalizes impunity and silences victims still waiting for justice. Revoke the invitation. Africa deserves accountable leadership, not repression in a suit. But who was listening? Because even after people went and said all these things, these people still went ahead and had Ruto as their chief guest, right? Rogers would say, I believe the world is watching and is aware of the current happenings in Kenya. Inviting such a dark-hearted human being who belongs in the darkest heads of hell to speak in such a forum is the worst atrocity that is being done towards humanity from another continent. Such a shame, right? Felix would say, President Ruto headlining the Africa Debate 2025 as a champion of inclusive growth and green industrialization is the biggest PR joke of the decade. Here is a man whose own citizens are in the streets dodging bullets and tear gas, but he's off to the UK to school investors on visionary leadership. Sir, the only thing you've grown is public debt and public outrage. Where is the lie, guys? Actually, like, where is the lie? The only thing this man is capable of is putting us in debts one after the other and also public outrage, right? And Felix goes on and says, just last year, he tried to sneak in a finance bill that would have taxed everything from bread to sanitary pads. Kenyans said no, took to the streets, and the regime responded with live bullets. At least 50 people were killed, and now, Felix, we know it's actually 60 people, the ones we know of, right? Many more injured, and parliament was nearly overrun. The only reason Ruto withdrew the bill was because Gen Z made the country ungovernable, not because he suddenly found a heart. And if you doubt, you remember, during the first protest, this man came national TV and called Kenyans criminals for protesting, right? So when Felix says that the only reason Ruto withdrew the bill was because Gen Zs made the country ungovernable, not because he finally found a heart, we believe him because we witnessed that. We saw that, right? But he continues and says, let's not forget the corruption. When preaching economic reform abroad, back home, Kenya shilling 16 billion was disappearing through shady edible oil imports, and his own appointees were neck deep in the scandal. This isn't a government, it's a cartel with a press secretary. Now, Murkomen wants to shut down media houses for broadcasting protest, which we saw the media blackout, right? Because apparently, cameras are the real threat, not the regime stealing the future. And Ruto, he's on stage in London, acting like a Pan-African sage, while Kenya burns behind him. If this is what leadership looks like, then clowns might as well start hosting TED Talks. Where is the lie in all this, guys? I mean, you are calling it the Africa Debate, Invest Africa, and you're having Ruto as your chief guest. Who are you kidding? But I want to read more of these comments because I was going through these comments and the way these guys were internalizing the whole event, it's worth taking note of. Emma would say, well, William Ruto is positioned as a keynote speaker on green growth and inclusive development. This is misplaced. Considering his leadership, Kenya has not achieved meaningful industrialization and continues to depend on foreign capital from UAE, China, and International Monetary Fund. Where is the lie? Didn't we see the same guy in China the other day? Like, honestly, he even got in trouble with the Americans because they were wondering, where is your loyalty? Are you with the Americans? Are you with the Chinese? Where exactly do you fall, right? But Emma is right in saying that Kenya has not achieved meaningful industrialization and continues to depend on foreign capital from the UAE, China, and IMF. Driving public debt above 11 trillion, surpassing constitutional limits. Economic gains remain concentrated among the political elite, and widespread protests reflect growing public frustration. Regional integration is declining, with reduced East Africa trade and Uganda seeking alternative routes. Furthermore, the government's increasingly authoritarian stance, such as shutting down TV broadcasts during dissent, contradicts the very values being promoted. And finally, the elephant said, "This is such blatant mockery of Kenyans and Kenya as a whole. This is some special kind of BS you guys are peddling. How can a warlord be a guest speaker at an African summit? The man supplying weapons to rebel forces in Sudan, really? The man just killed at least 10 Kenyans in the last week alone, and the list includes children. All I can say is F you and your stupid summit." And I get why people would say this. You know, as I was watching this whole shenanigan, and I saw people clapping and people taking videos and people standing and giving this man a whole standing ovation, I was like, man, are you mistaken? Furthermore, was the UK not one of the countries, among other countries, that issued a joint statement just the other day? The embassies, they issued a joint statement towards Maandamano, and they insinuated they were with Kenyans, you know, wako saidia wa Kenya, and they want people's rights to be respected. So how again do you get to invite this person in your own homeland to be a chief guest in an African event? You guys, come on, you overhype this man so much. This man has made at least over 50 international trips in just 2 years. Just 2 years. I dare you guys on the comment section, honestly, and I want to have an open mind on this. Tell us what these international trips have achieved so far. Like, honestly, tell us what these international trips have achieved so far. And because we are going to be talking about this whole green theory and how, oh, come on, by the way, when they say, you know what, when they say he's a driving force behind green growth, I'm going to come and talk to you about all these conservancies BS and climate change BS that Africa is witnessing right now, because we've been on the ground and we've seen people who are sold this agenda. Majority of them don't even understand. Like even you on the comment section, when someone is a chief guest in an Africa debate and they are going to talk about green growth, industrialization and regional integration, does this man sound like Ruto? Man, does green growth sound like Kenya? No, absolutely not. But let's hear some of his lies, because one thing Ruto is going to do, when he gets a mic, this guy is going to speak a lot of nothings. And when he's speaking, you will think, man, he is so smart, he is so eloquent, until you start analyzing what exactly did this man say, because there was actually nothing that he said. But let me play you a part of this clip, and the clips, the longer clips, are on the social media platforms where you can be able to go and catch the whole event and what he said. And then I urge you to go and analyze that for yourself and see there's actually nothing this man said, or there's nothing substantial this man said. And if I'm being honest, I kind of feel like the whole, you know, everything that is happening in our country right now was also a distraction to make sure that you Kenyans don't pay attention to this debate, right? Because tell me why he's cruising in London. Well, us here on X, we are talking about the Matiang'i interview on Citizen. We are talking about Gachagwa's move to want to mobilize 8 million people to vote against this guy. Majority of the people did not even pay attention to this man's trip in London. And I can tell you for free, money has been borrowed and you guys will pay for it, and you will not know how that money has been used. But as I said, let's listen in to part of his speech.
We possess approximately 30% of the world's known critical mineral reserves, including more than 70% of global cobalt, 47% of manganese, and significant deposits of lithium, graphite, and rare earth elements.
There, let's just stop there. Kwa nini minerals zenyu ziko in an international podium? This guy is busy saying how much minerals Kenyans possess, and we have not even seen how minerals help this country. Can you imagine? He's busy selling minerals outside, telling people, you know what, come, we have a lot of minerals. But you guys, did you even know all this? And even if we know, because I know some of us know where the minerals are, didn't we have conversations last year? Where are those minerals located? Aren't those the same places you'll find game parks, conservancies? So how is that helping the local mwananchi when you stand there and start talking about the minerals that we have, minerals that are not even helping Kenyan youths, right? But let's go on and listen in.
These minerals are strategic assets for global energy and digital transition. Beyond minerals, Africa is rich in renewable energy potential, and Kenya is a leader in this space. Today, over 90% of our electricity is generated from sources that are renewable.
I mean, if you had 90% of your electricity being generated from sources that are renewable, why is it that KPLC charges so much when it comes to tokens? I mean, we are busy marketing ourselves as the hub of green industrialization or waka waka or climate change or all those things. But here, you know, when you're sitting in that conference, you would think, okay, Kenyans have it easier when it comes to this whole renewable energy, which means, by the way, if 90% of your electricity is generated that way and we are the ones with the resources, why do we have to pay so much when it comes to our electricity? Why do we have to do it? You would actually think in that seminar, he would end up saying Kenyans don't even pay for the electricity. No. But he's there selling a narrative because he wants investors to come in. And we know where these minerals are located, this knowledge has even been hidden from majority of Kenyans because they don't want you to figure it out. They do not want you to figure it out. And you remember when we had the professor from UN just last year, and we were talking about the licensing fee, like even if you discover you have minerals right here, you are likely to part with $500,000 in just license. Tuchimba uangalie ka, by the way, kuna kitu hapa chini. So we have minerals, but it's not easy for Kenya, but it's easy for all those people who are attending this conference. But let's finish.
And we are committed to reaching 100% clean energy by 2030.
100% green energy by 2030. Ai, mtu tu kila kitu akiongeanga ni uongo tu. 2030 sini hapa tu. How are we committed? You see, they don't give you the details of what they are doing, but they will give you these whole vague statements. We are committed by 2030. But let's hear the people clap, because that's interesting. I want to clap to that. I mean, if we were to achieve that in 2030, I would be happy. You and I would be so happy, because for the first time, a lie becomes a truth in this country, right?
Africa is rich in renewable energy potential, and Kenya is a leader in this space. Today, over 90% of our electricity is generated from sources that are renewable, and we are committed to reaching 100% clean energy by 2030. When I say 2030, it looks far. In the next 5 years, that's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
So in the next five years, we want to be at 100%. If you are looking for a space for you to decarbonize your business, Kenya is the natural destination. On food security, Africa holds 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land, yet as of 2023, accounted for only about 10% of global agricultural output and less than 5% of processed
We are not even going to food security or food sovereignty, guys. If you want to see the hidden agendas and the hidden talks when it comes to food sovereignty or food security, the difference between the two, head off to DJ Bwakali's YouTube channel. He has a whole comprehensive episode on that, because this is the narrative these leaders know how to speak. I mean, every African leader will go telling other European or Western countries, you know, the global north, how much Africans are capable and the Arab land that we have, but we are not doing anything about it. But look at them. How supportive are they even to the small-scale farmers in this country? How supportive are they when they say you can't plant this dengu without permission, you can't do this maize without permission? They've taken over our indigenous foods, the way they keep accommodating GMOs in this country. What business as a Kenyan president do you have going to talk to people abroad about food security or food sovereignty? We don't even have agricultural officers to even educate our own people on the new methods of farming. And this man wants to stand there and keep pushing this narrative of how Africa as a continent has great or vast pieces of land that we guys have not even utilized, right? Honestly, I cannot continue watching that, but I watched all of it and there was just something off about it. As I said, you really need to go back and watch that whole statement so that you guys can be able to internalize the lies and see what exactly is wrong with everything this person said. But he went ahead and posted on his social media handle. Let me look. Ruto went ahead. I want us to fact check a couple of his lies in his own statement. And this is what he went ahead and posted on his Twitter. Let me read that for you quickly so that we can be able to double check some of the hypocrisy, you know, some of the lies that this man is telling, even on global stages, right? Yeah, so this was his statement. He said, Africa must step forward, rise and harness its resources for growth and transformation. It must not only invest in agriculture and manufacturing, but also in services, technology, and human capital to create employment and generate wealth. This is how we can drive global progress. During the Africa, this was him during the Africa debate again, 2025 in London. And he's right about one thing. Africa, we must be able to invest in agriculture and manufacturing. And that is true, right? But what is the hypocrisy in Ruto's statement in all this? I got a couple of notes for you guys. Do you know, under Ruto's regime, manufacturing alone has shrunk? We've actually, the manufacturing sector declined from contributing 9.3% of GDP in 2016 to 7.6 in 2023. And obviously, there are no signs of revival in this particular sector. You get it? Look at our local industries. They have collapsed. And this is not just from him as a president, even from the previous president, Uhuru Kenyatta. Our local industries, they have actually collapsed due to overtaxation. Let me tell you, if you are an entrepreneur in Kenya alone, and you want to even open a manufacturing company or you want to venture into manufacturing, you have to think about the licenses and the taxes, and that alone will demotivate you because you will be like, nah, this is too much stress. I do not want it, right? I do not want it. You have unregulated foreign competition. How are we as Kenyans supposed to compete with unregulated foreign companies in our own land? I mean, and majority of these companies, all they have to do is give someone in government a kickback and they will be operating. How are you going to compete with such people? Look at even our local textile industry. Look at it. How are you even going to start creating your own outfit from scratch if you have clothes coming in left, right, and center? And he's busy talking about, he's actually busy there talking about manufacturing. How we must invest in agriculture and manufacturing. For how long will we continue talking about investing in agriculture? For how long will we pose this question every time we are here together for a conversation? Value add in our agricultural products is a myth in this country. You are busy talking about agriculture, yet you still accept coffee to be exported in its raw formats. Flowers, nuts, our macadamia nuts. And then we export them, they are packaged, and then we come and buy them 10 times the price. And you are busy in a global stage talking about agriculture, food security, food sovereignty. Give us a break. This man needs to let us go right now. You know, he talks about Africa, we need to harness our resources for growth and transformation. That is true. We have a lot of resources, and some of these resources, as you can tell, again, the arable land, our youths, we have a lot of these resources, but we are busy auctioning public assets as well. How many pieces of land have we auctioned in the name of conservancies? How many? We are giving thousands and thousands of acres to foreigners in the name of conservancies. And I do not want to sit here and continue talking about conservancies, because we've had a lot of conversations with Mordecai, and also a great conversation with Mordecai together with Mbaria on the big conservation lie. And you guys, I keep telling you, get that book, and no one will come to talk to you about this whole conservancies scam ever. If you get that book and you read, and you even go and watch some of these conversations that Mbari and Mordecai, they have on their separate social media, you will not let someone talk to you about conservancies. These things are not meant to serve us. Absolutely. And if you want to know, they are not even meant to serve us. We are talking about green industrialization, green growth, etc., etc. Well, even the people we are auctioning our own youths in all this. Did we not just go to Kajiado the other day? Me and my team, we were there with these incredible people who are being told per acre of land, we are going to pay you 250 shillings for us to collect carbon. You ask Kenyans what is carbon credit, wanakwambia ni upepo. Roho mbaya kabisa, upepo. Because you want to continue selling this narrative to people without public participation or public education. And you are busy now talking about green this, green that, climate this, climate that. And if you think I'm lying, ask yourself, because we've asked ourselves that before. What happened to plant trees? We have a whole national tree planting day. You think that was to serve us? No, that was to serve someone somewhere. Because Ruto has positioned himself as the king of climate change in Africa. That is why there will be a Uko COP. They will be talking about green energy here. They will be talking about renewable, this and that. But even the local mwananchi, they do not have a grasp of what these people continuously talk about, right? Let's see another one, maybe the final one. He speaks about, still on the minerals, guys. Look at some of these communities where they are said, to be rich in these minerals, Northeastern, you have places like Turkana, Lamu, Taita Taveta. Look at the people around those regions. How did the oil in Turkana benefit the people in Turkana? You going and talking about minerals, but how is it that this was even a debate? I thought a debate is where I pose a challenge to you. You challenge me. I hear your thoughts, you hear my thoughts. But this was just him speaking. How come no one in that whole luxurious event asked him, how are the communities in these areas? But they want to sell to investors who will come and lock those areas, benefit, and then vamoose. They go, right? When he says, we need to invest in services, technology, and human capital. Of course, this is a key to any modern economy. We cannot lie about that. But look at our tech sector. People are being suffocated right, left, and center. You have people talking to you about the digital service tax, right? The VAT on mobile money platforms. And you wonder, how exactly are we supposed to invest in services, technology, and human capital When you slash the education budget, when you slash it, because again, we need to invest in human capital, but you are slashing the education budget and topping State House innovation budget. Who are you fooling in those podiums? Who exactly are you fooling? When you keep talking about human capital and the rate of unemployment, especially among the youths in this country, is crazy. Who again is this man fooling? Nah, I kind of feel like you guys, you really need to go and watch all that and internalize. Because this guy is just preaching prosperity abroad while his country is dying of unemployment, extrajudicial killings, abductions, police brutality. Who are you fooling? No, you really need to also stop. You need to stop visiting all these countries and just for the first time stay at home and ask yourself, how can I solve what is happening in my own home? You know, when you look at his international presence and the truth about what is happening back at home, imagine a mafuta, oil and water, guys, oil and water. Stop preaching global progress abroad while the economy in Kenya is crashing. Don't do that. But let me walk you finally through the figures, because you guys need to understand how much money and what is going where and what came out of all this UK London trip. So let me walk you through the figures. As you can see on your screen, the Kenya-UK strategic partnership, that is 2025 all the way to 2030. You have 266.1 billion. This is the new UK investments in Kenya. I think that's the total, if I'm not wrong. That is the investment in Kenya by 2030. I want to go straight to the Nairobi Railway City project. Again, guys, go and listen in and hear what these people are saying about the Nairobi Railway City project. I see Mudavadi is a fan of King's Cross Railway Station. By the way, this guy backbenches there every other time. But I'm really interested in the 35.5 billion, the green finance to support climate action. Green finance. I told you guys, they give you very vague and useless details. They don't even tell you, okay, how exactly is this going to be done? When you talk about green finance to support climate action, what are you talking about? Very vague. And because they know there's a lot of things that are happening right now, and people might not get wind of this, and you guys will not question, sign here. Where do we sign? Good. Another one that was very interesting, 17.7 billion. Investment in tech ecosystems. Support 500 plus startups, 5,000 SMEs, and create 30,000 digital jobs. You know what is interesting? We have startups crashing in this country. By them, I always say, when a startup survives even a year, clap for yourself. Because the challenges and lack of government support that is going to hit you, you won't even believe it. And now we are going to create 30,000 digital jobs. Lakini mi leo niko na swali, kama kuna mse ashaipata job through huyu mse, si utuambie tu kwa comment section. Maybe as we hate here, or we give details that are not honest, and maybe 30,000 of you are benefiting in these digital jobs. When you talk about digital jobs, what are you even talking about? The digital sphere is large. So what exactly do you mean by 30,000 digital jobs? You know, another one, when he speaks about 2.5 million Kenyans will receive digital skills training. Aye? What is this? What is this? You will receive digital skills training. 2.5 million of you guys. Through this partnership, you are going to receive digital skills training. Kama mimi as Lynn Ngugi, even I have never received the simplest digital training from the government as a way of elevating platforms or content creators. Maybe, obviously, I wouldn't expect them to give me anything. I mean, I sit here and say all I want about them. But I have other incredible team members here. And even if I were to ask them, have you ever? Who does these things? You know, they are right there on paper. But when it comes to execution, that is actually where we draw the line. I don't know, guys. A lot of distractions in our country that we might not help sometimes how we feel. But I don't want us to miss on such key details. 2030, we are going to have 100% renewable energy here in this country. That is your president in London. By 2030, 2.5 million of you will have been trained on digital skills. 500 of you are going to receive help through, you know, the startups. 5,000 digital this and that. You know, Kenya, by the way, when it comes to green finance and climate action, we are number one. That is why we have a whole holiday to plant trees in our own country, where Africa collectively emits, I don't know, less than 5%. But now the burden of green whatever is on Africans. Carbon credits, carbon markets, emissions, all this, the burden is on Africans. I really hope you follow up this month's trip in London. I'll be in London soon also. So hopefully I also get to ask Kenyans there what their views are. But shame to Africa debate, that is Invest Africa. I saw they had a couple of sponsors, Safaricom included. So obviously they are going to talk about digital, this, M-Pesa, this and that. But shame on such a platform for giving this man a platform because they deem him so much worth of representing African values. There is no African value Ruto represents. And I wonder why it was a debate if no one in that crowd asked him about the extrajudicial killings in his own country. You know? But then this was just like middle finger to all of you. We are going to have this event whether you like it or not. We are going to host this man. But I can tell you in that room, none of your interests were represented. They knew why they had that event. They knew why they had those people attending that event. And they knew why they were selling this whole dream of minerals and come and invest in Kenya. Kenya right now, it's too chaotic even for foreign investors. I mean, how many of them are closing shop right now? The audacity to have this man in a platform talking about investing back in Kenya, and he can't put his own house in order, that baffles me a lot. A lot baffles me a lot. But let's continue monitoring his activities in London. I'm not sure if he's back or whether he's ever coming back. Don't you wish he wouldn't come back? But guys, let's continue monitoring what is happening in London as they continue backbenching. Mudavadi has been there more times than I have even ever been. I don't know. But still, no results in your own country. They have these big statements and big speeches in global stages, but in their own home country, they are doing nothing. But let me know what your views are. Thank you for everyone who raised their voice at Africa Debate, Invest Africa, and actually called them out on their own BS. This is what we need. We need when people do something, let them know that Kenyans were not in agreement. You hosted him as Ruto, not as Kenya's president. Yeah, you actually hosted this man as Ruto, not as Kenya's president. But that's on that. Share your views with me on the comment section. Thank you to all the incredible new subscribers on this platform. I see we are at 1.35 million subscribers. We do not take that for granted, so we appreciate all the new subscribers. And if you've watched this until the end and you've not subscribed, give it a thought. Subscribe goes a long way into making sure that this enlightenment keeps reaching as many people as possible. And lastly, If there's anything you can't put on the comment section, you want a heart to heart, or there's something you possibly again can't say on the comment section, our email is info@lnn.digital. We can as well talk through our email. Sawa sawa. All right, guys, have an amazing weekend. See you.